What's going on, guys? This is Nathan the Scrub Academy welcoming you to another deck profile here on the channel. Today we've got Josh back here again with his Shark Control deck that he played here at Locals. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it.
Alright, so it's pretty standard, 40, 15, and side deck doesn't exist right now, but it's pretty flexible.
Who needs a side deck?
Right, exactly. So I'm just going to get right into it. Our two main starters is going to be 3 Lantern Shark and 3 Buzzsaw Shark. Lantern Shark, when he's normal or special summoned, you get to special summon a level 3, 4, or 5 water monster from your hand. And then it locks you into Xyz monsters for the rest of the turn, but in this deck it really doesn't matter. Then we got 3 Buzzsaw Shark. You target a water monster you control, that includes himself. You special summon a fish monster from your deck with the same level but a different name. And it locks you into Xyz monsters as well, which again, doesn't matter in this deck because it's all Xyz monsters. And these two together really open up for a lot of different nasty combos that you can do with all the new water stuff that came out in Brothers of Legend. And it just helps a lot having this new support. And we got 1 right-hand shark. He's pretty good in setting up a board of Stealth Kraken. If you use him as material, that monster can't be destroyed by battle. Usually I'll get him out using Buzzsaw Shark's effect, and then I'll overlay those two into Kraken, so then the Kraken can only be destroyed by card effects, or removed from the field by card effects, which then will trigger his effect to get Krakens from the extra deck. So it's just kind of a collapsing domino effect, which is pretty solid.
Seems pretty good. I've seen that a lot of people aren't playing the left-hand shark. Why is that?
For me at least, I found it to be very clunky. If you normal summon right-hand shark, you get to add left-hand shark to your hand. But then when I was playtesting it, I was thinking, how am I going to get left-hand shark out of my hand other than using some extra normal or special summon somehow? So to me, it's very clunky. I don't know what other people's opinions are. So that's kind of just my 2 cents on it.
All right.
I got 2 Silent Angler. The reason I don't run 3 is because I don't have a 3rd. I found a decent replacement for it though, but he basically gets himself out of the hand as long as you control a water monster. And he's a really good extender for the deck, and in this deck there is a lot of extenders.
Okay.
So for my replacement for Silent Angler, I have Ice Knight, only because he gives you an additional normal summon of any water monster during your main phase, as is other additional normal summon effects. He performed a lot better than I thought he was going to. Just thinking of him as a replacement, I thought, hey, it's pretty much just another Silent Angler.
So if you had a 3rd Silent Angler, would you then go ahead and replace that Ice Knight, or would you leave the Ice Knight in and find something else to take out?
I'd definitely take out the Ice Knight, just because Silent Angler feels a lot better being just a free special summon over the just normal summon and additional normal summon. Against control decks, you have a chance of getting warnings, impermed, Veilered, and all that, where Silent Angler can't be Veilered, and can't be Veilered or Ashed or anything like that.
Okay.
So, then continuing on with my extenders, I have 3 Silent Sea Nettle, 3 Tenyi Spirit Shithana, and 3 Xyz Remeras. Just go down the line. Sea Nettle special summons himself from hand as long as you control a water monster. The only drawback is he locks you into water monsters for the rest of the turn. But as long as he's in the graveyard as well, he does shuffle up to 3 water monsters from graveyard into deck, which is really nice for recycling. But he's good for the extension from that free special summon. I also have 3 Tenyi Spirit Shithana. If you don't have any effect monsters on the board, you can special summon from hand, and lo and behold, he's level 4 water, which is perfect for this deck. And it's pretty much a free monster in this deck in this sense, which is nice. And then Xyz Remera. You detach 2 monsters from Xyz monsters you control to special summon him onto the board. And then if you special summon him this way, you get 2 fish monsters from your graveyard back on the board in defense mode, which is really great for doing some dumb combos like getting 2 or 3 totally awesomes on the board, and then if you don't have like a lock by water monsters, you can then get F0 using those spare Bahamut Sharks, and it's just kind of a snowball effect kind of a deal. So that's all my water monsters, all my main extenders and water monsters. The rest of my monsters is 2 different hand traps. I got 3 Effect Veiler and 3 Ash Blossom. Very self-explanatory just for the sake of the meta. So that's all my monsters. Moving on to the spells. I have 3 White Mirror. This card is amazing in this deck. You can target a level 4 lower fish in your graveyard, special summon it. If you do that, then you can add a monster from your deck with the same original name, which is amazing for different extensions. Like if you use Silent Angler, if you haven't used Silent Angler's effect yet and you have him in the grave, just get another Silent Angler. It's a free rank 4 essentially. And everything else is pretty much just meta choice. So we got one Harpy's Feather Duster, excuse me. 3, yeah, I'm playing an illegal deck, of course. 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 2 Pot of Desires, 2 Crossout Designator, and 1 Called by the Grave. Just kind of different meta choices. Desires is great in this deck because you run 3 of everything, so I'd rather run this instead of Extravagance or Prosperity, just because it gets rid of the main deck, and the extra deck I really can't afford to sacrifice. Crossout Designator, of course, Called by the Grave, all hand trap and meta choices. And that's all my spells. Moving on to the traps. I only got 2 different traps. 3 Goes in Match and 3 Impermanence. Permanence is that meta choice. Goes in Match is kind of the reason this deck exists. I'll explain a little bit more when we get to the extra deck. But Goes in Match is a game-winning card in a lot of circumstances in this deck.
Especially with the meta that we currently have. I feel like it can hit a lot of decks.
Oh yeah, especially all the, like, Bird Up has got multiple attributes. Tenny has a lot of attributes, Sword Soul, yada yada yada. I could go down the list for weeks and months. That's all my traps. We're gonna move on to the extra deck then. So I got 3 Stealth Kraken and 3 Stealth Kraken Spawn. So what these guys do, Stealth Kraken is your main kind of powerhouse for the Goes in Match side of it. He makes all your opponent's monsters on the field become water, which is amazing for a Goes in Lock, given most of the decks in the meta are going to be light or dark or wind, and most of them don't run water monsters or very little water monsters. His other effect is you can destroy a water monster your opponent controls, and since he makes them all water monsters, you can pretty much destroy any monster your opponent controls. If you do that, you burn your opponent for half the attack it had on the field.
That seems nice.
Yeah, it's pretty helpful for the controls aspect of this deck. His second effect then, or his last effect, if he's destroyed while he was Xe summoned and he's destroyed, and he has material, you can special summon Kraken spawns from your extra deck up to the number of materials he had, and then attach 1 water monster from your graveyard for each of the Krakens you special summon from extra deck. And Kraken Spawn is what you special summon from the Stealth Kraken. He's kind of a mini version of the Stealth Kraken. He doesn't make your opponent's monsters water, but he still does the destruction effect. And if he's destroyed after being special summoned by the effect of a number monster, which Stealth Kraken is a number monster, you get to special summon a Stealth Kraken from your graveyard up to the number of materials that he had, and then you attach a water monster to it as material, which is pretty good recycling and recurrence, especially if you can get your opponent to bait out that Stealth Kraken. You just get him back, especially with that Goes in Match. It's very helpful in that respect. That's kind of one of the 2 main engines that I run for the extra deck. The other engine is 2 Totally Awesome and 2 Bahamut Shark. It's pretty self-explanatory in a Shark deck, because they're all water monsters. You get Bahamut Shark out with your level 4s, and then you detach 1 from Bahamut Shark to get Totally Awesome out. And with how consistent this deck's combos are, you can usually get 2 Bahamuts out and 2 Totally Awesomes out. It's very sacky in that way. So everything else after this is pretty much open-ended stuff. A couple of things I recommend more than others for what I'm running, but it's pretty open-ended. You got F-Zero Future and F-Zero Draco Future. Reason being, you're usually going to get both Bahamut Sharks out at the same time, and you're usually only going to be locked into Xyz monsters, so you can just drop this guy on top of those Bahamut Sharks, because they're not going to be able to attack anyways if you were to summon your Toads, which is very helpful for getting an extra monster negation, and also opening up your board for another combo next turn if you need to go into 1 more Xyz monster. And we got then 1 Zeus, 1 Abyss Dweller, and 1 Time Thief Redoer. Zeus is just the nuclear option for just needing to send everything to graveyard. Dweller's great since everything's water. It's going to give all your water monsters 500 attack, since it'll have a water monster's material 99.9% of the time. and plus it negates the graveyard when you detach, which is awesome. Then Redoer, it's just a option I chose. That one's pretty fluid. I thought about running Redoer, I thought about running Cowboy, maybe even something like Daigusto Emerald, just for that recycling factor. But everything else within these three is pretty optional. So that's about it.
All right, and you said the only thing that you would change in the main deck would just be the Ice Knight for the Angular?
Yep, until I get a third. So
okay.
Angular is going to be
all
Ice
right,
Knight.
so we got to get you a third one of those.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you, Josh, for bringing us your Shark Control deck today. Make sure to stay tuned later on this week because we will have some live duels for this deck so you can see it in action. If you did enjoy today's deck profile, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below about what you think of the deck. But that is all I've got for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, this is Nathan from the Scrub Academy, signing out for now. Peace out.